Of course, Ukraine's ability to continue this war is due largely to support from Europe and the United States.
Yep.
And I know that the public in both countries, the majority of the public has supported that aid effort. What's the attitude in Europe like now? Is it as strong as before, stronger, weaker? What are people saying about the war in Ukraine?
Well, I think it depends a bit on the country of Europe.
Right.
The more the country is in the direction of Russia, they became far more pro-Ukraine. And as far as it's going further from the Ukraine border, it becomes less Ukraine. In the end, for the Netherlands, I think they're quite, at least the Dutch government is quite pro-Ukraine. They're sending their F-16 airplanes. Today, I understand they sent some 12 very sophisticated vehicles to transport the stuff near to the front. So the help from the Netherlands in the direction of Ukraine that stays. And I think the same in the majority of the countries in Europe. Some countries are doing more, some countries doing less. Germany is doing quite much. France, looking to the size of their army, they're doing quite less. But they're helping, but doing quite less. And well, yeah, things like countries like Hungary or Slovakia, they're the more pro-Putin government, so they do not actually really help Ukraine at all. So it really depends on the country.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you that question. In the media, it's often portrayed that these right-wing parties that have recently won some elections in different countries, including your country, that this is an example of the public becoming more pro-Russia or at least not supporting Ukraine as much. Is there something to that where going right wing, going conservative lines up with being less in support of Ukraine or even maybe in support of making a deal with Russia?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got some elections in Germany, in some German states. Party ADF wins there. It's called Alternative für Deutschland, and they're absolutely against the war in Ukraine, and they're absolutely for a more, I would say, a more direct solution. Stop
Mm.
helping in Ukraine because it has no need to do it. But I think overall in Europe, I still think the majority of the people thinks it's a good idea to help Ukraine because we know somewhere deep inside us, because once there was a big wall between Europe and the East, so we know the danger of Russia is that's just in front of European borders. That's absolutely an issue. So I think the majority of the people knows it, and they are still pro-Ukraine. What I do think when some kind of economic crisis or something hits Europe, then people certainly starting to ask questions for, hey, we're sending a lot of military stuff and aid to Ukraine, but why don't we spend it in our own country? Because we're in a recession. So, but we are not at that point at this moment. So I think the overall, the big majority of the people still supports the war in Ukraine.